You can't take it personally. You can't take it as an attack on you. You got to realize, just like you have ministry, you have purpose. Other people have ministry, other people have purpose, and sometimes they have to leave your fold to go and fulfill their purpose. And if you're going to be a true friend, then you need to push them and give them all the motivation and encouragement. Because some people ain't leaving until you kick them out. Some people ain't leaving. David would have never left the palace if Saul had never get crazy.
Yes.
He'd have been right there. But if he had never left the palace, he would never became the leader that he was. Right. He became the leader that he was through the trials and tribulations he went through. So much so that the Bible said all the broken, all the misfits became to David, and David made an army out of them. All those, the Bible talks about the left-handed slingshot shooters that came to kill giants, and they were giant killers, and the brothers and sons of Goliath, they went out and killed. So if he had never left the palace, he would have never developed those skills. He would never got to the level to be the leader that he was supposed to be if he had stayed in the comfort of the palace. So sometimes, people, sometimes discomfort comes between two people because it's time for them to split. And the grace that was there that kept y'all together is no longer there. And if the grace is not there, a lot of people can't get along. The only reason y'all get along because it was grace. When the grace is gone, then you need to recognize, okay, it's time for us to split. Doesn't mean anything wrong with either one of us. It's just that the grace for us to be together is no longer there. It's time for us to go in our separate directions. Sister Coleman,
I've noticed it in my life. You can see, you don't understand it at this particular time, but God puts people in your life, and then you separate from them, and you become really close, and He separates you. But then at a point in time, He brings them back, and either you're going to be a blessing to them, or they're going to be a blessing to you, and then He separates you again. You're like, wow, God, because I know this one particular lady I worked with in Germany, and we became real close because we worked on a Black History Committee. But God worked that thing, so when I was here at the Coast Guard Finance Center, He assigned her to the Coast Guard Finance Center, and she was the one that promoted me because the lady that was there would not receive me. But He moved that lady out the way, put her there, and she was there 1 year. I got my promotion, and she went to Europe.
Wow.
She was transferred to Italy.
I need one of them.
Yes.
My question is like, how do you deal with complete loss? Like, if you have like a long relationship with somebody and then they die, like, and like it's your best friend, how do you deal with that? Because there's so many questions that come behind that, and you should not take it personally, because obviously their work here is done and they're with the King, and or what about even if you're not sure if they made it in? Like, how do you deal with that?
I think the only way you can deal with that is to go to your quiet time, your prayer room, and just be honest with God about how you're feeling. The reason why we don't overcome grief and sorrow is because we're not honest about what we're feeling, as if God does not know how we're feeling. There's nowhere in the Bible where God does not allow us to express our feelings. He doesn't allow us to question His authority, but He does allow us to express our feelings to Him. And so He says, reason with me, plead your case with me. And so I think when you're honest with God about how you're feeling, then He can be honest with sending the healing and sometimes give you the answers to why this was the time, why I had to do this at this time. Because we're straightforward with Him, and He can be straightforward with us. Is when we're not honest that God says, okay, if you're not going to be honest with me, I don't need to tell you nothing. Because if you're not going to be honest with me, you can't handle what I'm going to tell you anyway. But when you're honest and then God reveals that to you, you can say, okay, God, I see what you're doing, I understand what you're doing, And so I think that's where we get our healing. And I think we have to realize that healing does not happen overnight, because if there was a strong friendship, that just not gonna happen overnight, that I'm just not gonna miss that person. But I think we also have to recognize is that it's more of us missing them than them missing us. Because if they made it home, they don't wanna come back. You know? And so we have the blessed hope of knowing that they are in the place where they don't wanna come back, and that I still have an assignment to do, and they are in that cloud of witnesses that Hebrew talks about. They is cheering me on to do the race and do what God has called me to do, and to accomplish what God has called me to accomplish.
I think too, also to add to that, when you get to a point where you can just thank them, thank God for who they were when they was with you, what you learned from them, what you was able to talk to them about, what they was able to talk to us about. Because, you know, you get to a point like I remember my friend, and when she was living, and now we say she was living, God bless the dead, and you tell the story about what they did. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what we do. We say, I remember when she was living, God bless the dead, and keep on going, you tell your story. I know, but don't they say it? Or something like that they be saying. I'm like, what does that mean? You know.
I'm serious, what does that mean?
I don't know. But people say it.
Because your soul is your emotions and your mind. And if you died in Christ, you already blessed.
That's what they say.
If you only reason you need to rest your soul, you didn't die in Christ.
You ain't gotta tell me. I'm just telling what people be saying.
You know, and if you didn't die in Christ, ain't nothing I can do to rest your soul.
I both think so.
Yeah. And it's like if it hasn't been taken care of in my life, then ain't nothing you can say or do that's gonna change that. Okay. I can understand. So being hurt and being disappointed by people, that is an occupational hazard. Let me put another twist on that before I leave that. When we prepare ourselves for that, we don't get hurt as much. When we come to a realization that yes, in this ministry that I'm doing, I'm going to be disappointed, I'm going to be hurt. It doesn't come at first as a shock, and then it doesn't take me out. You know, but we approach ministry sometimes as a bed of roses, not realizing that roses has thorns on them. And while you're walking through that bed of roses, you do get cut by the thorns. So although it's beautiful to walk through, you still get hurt. So, but when I realize that there's thorns in there, I'm not shocked when I get cut by a thorn. I may still be hurt, but it doesn't shock me enough to take me out of the ministry. I still have strength to do what God has called me to do. And I don't think we prepare church workers and ministry people enough that yes, you are going to be hurt. So don't take it personally. You know, you're going to get hurt. Number 10, occupational hazard. Trying to make people do what God wants them to do. And that comes from having a passion to see people blessed. But you can't make people be blessed. The old saying is that I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make him drink. Somewhere down the line in Christendom, we have got an idea that it's our job to make people do stuff. That's not our job. Our job is to prepare the table and make the table look so pretty that you will want to eat. But if you don't, it's on you. God said, I prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies. He never said, I make you sit down to eat. Even God don't make you get saved. So if God don't make you get saved, how can we make people be blessed? But somewhere down the line, we have it in our minds that we have to make these people be blessed, and we go overboard. And sometimes we have the greatest intentions, but we can only lead them if they have the right to make the decision not to want to receive a blessing from God. It's their choice, and if they don't want it, then they don't have to have it, and we can't make them do it. And so that's our occupation. We're trying to make people do things that they just don't want to do, even though it's good for them. The other half of that is that we don't always recognize, part B of that is we don't always recognize when enough is enough. Sometimes we're trying to prevent things, trying to prevent what is needed.
Amen.
We're trying to prevent somebody from going through something, and God is saying that's what they need to go through. You know, with L.L., with the Lemuel Eaton Ministry, because we focus so much on marriage, sometimes we're always trying to keep couples together. Sometimes couples need to separate, and in the midst of them separating, they get a fondness for each other, and they miss each other, and they come back together stronger than they were than if I had tried to tie you two together. And you can't separate. You said, Paul stated, you need to separate sometime. He said, separate but stay unmarried, stay clean, so that you can come back together at the appointed time. And so sometimes we're so busy trying to keep people together, sometimes they do need to separate. So that they can realize what they really have. Because they don't know what they really have. So some people have to go through some things. And sometimes we're too busy trying to prevent them from going through what is exactly going to bring them the deliverance and the encouragement and the fortitude to take them to the next level. And so we're actually stopping their growth. Because we're trying to stop them from going through something that they need to go through. And they need to face. And that's an occupational hazard. I'm quiet. You're like, okay, I hope I ain't done that to nobody. Or we reflect back in our minds. I did try to make so and so do such and such. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The next occupational hazard is basing our success on someone else's success. Basing our success in ministry on somebody else's success. For pastors, it's like, okay, my friend pastor got 200 members, I only got 50. I didn't get 200 like him if I'm going to be successful. But what if God only called you to have 50?
Yeah, right.
If God only calls you to have 50, you're successful.
Amen.
Amen.
They going?
And God calls your brother to have 200.
Oh, they.
He's successful. Your success is not based on